This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's me, Zachary. I got two stories, two pieces of news, whatever you want to call it today, that I am extremely excited to talk about. There was a bunch of old, kind of irrelevant news that came out yesterday, like Dan Gilbert saying the Pacers could have gotten more for Paul George, or news coming out that said that Derrick Rose wanted to go to either the Spurs or the Clippers, but both teams rejected him. Like I said, that's all old and irrelevant stuff at this point. No one really cares about that anymore. But the stuff I gotta talk about today right here is pretty fire. And the first thing I want to do is show you guys this video. Ever since Chris Paul, CP3 himself, got traded to the Houston Rockets, people have been questioning the backcourt of Chris Paul and James Harden. How is that going to work out? They are both ball-dominant playmakers. How on earth are they going to coexist on the same team? Flat out doubting Chris Paul and James Harden. I've always been defending them. Let the record show that. I'm not even a Rockets fan, but I just don't see how you can write off a backcourt that contains Chris Paul and James Harden, two of the greatest players in the NBA right now. People are saying it won't work out so quickly without ever seeing them on the same court together. I just can't do that. And yesterday, some proof of how it could work out came out as the Instagram account Ball Training released a video of Chris Paul and James Harden on the same pickup basketball team. I'm not gonna take too much away from this because, like I said, it was a pickup basketball game, but there was some other NBA talent in that game as well. I know for a fact I saw JaVale McGee in there, and I know I saw a couple of other players that I recognized but just couldn't quite make out who they were. But still, Paul and Harden looked pretty good together, and just take a look. Like I said before, I am not doubting this backcourt at all. I know what their play styles were like in the past, alright? Especially for Chris Paul. He went his entire career without ever playing alongside another playmaker like James Harden. Before this, it was always big man after big man after big man, and he made them look really good too. But now that he's playing alongside James Harden, I think we're gonna get to see a different side to Chris Paul. And just from this pickup game alone, I can already tell there's going to be a bunch more ball movement for the Houston Rockets next year. Last year, you had James Harden making every single play offensively for the Houston Rockets, whether it be running the pick and roll with Clint Capella, taking a shot, drawing a foul, or driving to the paint and dishing it out for a three. That's the whole Mike D'Antoni offense in a nutshell. However, now that they have Paul and Harden, I think it's going to be a bit more fast-paced, if that makes sense. You're not going to see James Harden dribbling at the top of the key, waiting for things to get set up as much. The offense is going to start moving right away. They're going to utilize all 24 seconds on that shot clock. They're going to have defenses scrambling. The thing about a backcourt of Paul and Harden is both those guys can score. I know they're seen as playmakers, but they can score. They have proven this throughout their careers. Defenders have to respect their shot as well. It's not like a backcourt of Rajon Rondo and Ricky Rubio. If that was a team, I'd say no way that's going to work out. Neither one of those guys can shoot. Paul and Harden can both shoot. I'm not trying to say I know exactly what their offense will look like. I don't think anyone knows what their offense will look like at this point. I just feel like from all the doubters that they're not getting the respect they deserve as players. If they didn't think this would work out, or they didn't think they could find a way to make this work out, there is no way that this trade would have went down in the first place. There is no way that Chris Paul would have wanted to go to Houston in the first place. Just wait and see, guys. I am excited to see what they can do next year. Back in 2008, the Oklahoma City Thunder were born, but at the cost of another team. And that team used to be known as the Seattle Supersonics until money became an issue. The owner of the Seattle Supersonics wanted to build another arena, since the lease they had on the current arena that they were using was set to expire in 2010. So instead of releasing it again and having to pay for that, the owner was like, you know what? Why not just build our own arena so we don't have to lease anymore? We will own that. Only problem is that he wanted to use taxpayer money to fund it. The city of Seattle was like, we're not funding your project. If you want it, you pay for it. So he sold the team to who is now the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder and Clay Bennett. Upon first purchasing the team, Bennett was like, you don't worry guys, the Sonics will stay in Seattle. He lied. Of course, we all know they moved to OKC and became the Thunder, which you could imagine caused Sonics fans to feel some type of way. How would you feel if your favorite team, your hometown team, one day just up and move to a completely different state? I know I'd be devastated. I'd feel like I just lost a family member. It would be hard for me to be a fan of any NBA team at that point. Yet, to this day, Sonics fans remain hopeful that one day the NBA will give them their team back. And today, if you just so happen to be one of those Sonic fans hopefuls, then I have some pretty exciting news for you. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that the Seattle Supersonics will be back one day.
As a guy who plays in the Pacific Northwest, I get tweets about it all the time. Whenever I tell them I'm doing an interview, they want to know about Seattle. Is anything going to happen in Seattle? Are we ever going to get a team back in Seattle?
I think it's just a question of when the right time is to seriously start thinking about expansion. Think about the state we're in the league right now, where amazing to me that coming out off of these finals, you have some fans saying, there's only one good team in the league. Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, if people really believe that, even though we have 450 of the best players in the world, and 450 players can only form one really good team, probably doesn't make sense to expand in terms of dilution of talent. Now, I don't really believe that, and I think these things correct themselves. Yeah. And I don't want to put a precise timeline on it, but it's inevitable at some point we'll start looking at growth of franchises. That's always been the case in this league, and Seattle will no doubt be on a short list of cities we'll look at.
That's some exciting news right there. And to go along with this, the city of Seattle has also just introduced an arena community advisory group about a week ago. And they have plans to build a new arena to bring the NBA and NHL back to Seattle, but just need the plans to be passed by the city council first. So things are starting to fall in order to bring the Sonics back into the NBA, which is awesome. It sounded like the only thing stopping Adam Silver from bringing back or expanding the league, bringing back the Sonics plus adding another team, was the fact that some NBA fans feel like there isn't enough talent in the NBA right now to go around. He said that some NBA fans only feel there is one good team in the NBA. It's true, some fans do feel like that, and that team is the Golden State Warriors. And obviously, if there's only one good team in the NBA, like I said, that means there's not enough talent to fill out these other teams to compete. So why on earth would you add even more teams to kind of broaden that talent out? With that logic, that wouldn't make sense. And contrary to that, some fans think that the best thing for the NBA would actually be to get rid of some teams that already exist instead of expanding. And one of the people that even believe this is a good idea for the NBA is LeBron James. Just check this out. This was an interview from back in 2010, but check out some of the things that LeBron James said. Hopefully the league can figure out one way where it can go back to the 80s, where you had 3 or 4 All-Stars, 3 or 4 Superstars, 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on the same team. The league was great. It wasn't as watered down as it is now. Imagine if you could take Kevin Love off Minnesota and add him to another team, and you shrink the league. Looking at some of the teams that aren't great, you take Brook Lopez or you take Devin Harris off those teams that aren't good right now, and you add them to a team that could be really good. Not saying let's take New Jersey and let's take Minnesota out of the league, but hey, you guys are not stupid. I'm not stupid. It would be great for the league. 3 or 4 All-Stars, 3 or 4 Superstars, 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on the same team. LeBron James just predicted the NBA in 2017. Ironically though, the things that he wished for are the things that led to his downfall last year. Be careful what you wish for. That being said though, I can see what the argument is for shrinking the league, but I don't agree with it at all. I think if you do that, then some teams just become too dominant. Some teams become so loaded with talent because there aren't as many teams for players to go to, so the talent can't be divided as much. And on top of that, it just wouldn't be smart or fair just to do away with some teams because they aren't good at the moment. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, they are one of the best teams in the NBA. However, before LeBron James came into the league, they were one of the least successful franchises in the NBA. So using LeBron's logic, the Cleveland Cavaliers shouldn't even have been a team anymore by the time he came into the league. They should have just got rid of them and dispersed their talent amongst the NBA. By getting rid of franchises like LeBron and some other NBA fans think, it would actually kind of cause the NBA to grow stale. With the way it is now, you have some teams that haven't done anything in a very long time become some of the best teams in the NBA, and that, to me at least, adds a whole nother layer of excitement to the league. And that's going to lead us to the question of the day. What side are you on? Do you think the NBA should expand or shrink? Let me know down in the comment section below, but now let's take a look at what you guys said in yesterday's video. And yesterday, after Anthony Davis said that he is tired of losing and thinks the Pelicans have what it takes to be a good team in the NBA next year, I asked you guys how you think the Pelicans will do next year, and here is what you said. I think the Pelicans are going to make the playoffs, but like you mentioned in another video, DeMarcus Cousins may leave, causing some problems for them. Hopefully they can turn it around and get some young good players, become a good team in future years. Pelicans are going far next season. The reason is that the Pelicans have the two best big men in the league. The team has potential to beat the Warriors. Who could guard Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins on the Warriors? Zaza? Nope. Draymond? Nope. Kevin Durant? Maybe. But Pelicans will beat the Warriors in the paint and teams that win the playoffs, win the paint. It's crazy to think the Pelicans have the best power forward and center in the NBA right now, but they will probably only make it to the second round of the playoffs or even make the playoffs. Hope they switch to the East. The whole Pelicans will beat Golden State thing, I think that's a bit of a stretch. They could give the Warriors some problems for sure, but I think you discounted the defense of Draymond Green just a little bit there. And on top of that, the Pelicans would have a pretty hard time trying to match the Warriors on the perimeter, and threes are greater than twos, so there's that too. Still though, the Pelicans will be a tough first round matchup for anyone. Like always, don't forget to leave your answer for today's question of the day down in the comment section below. Let's try and get this video to 8 likes for another video tomorrow. Thank you for watching and keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here.